Hey everybody, welcome to MCM TV2, the home for all the extra mad content that doesn't go on the main channel. Lots of it, let's be honest, is even better. And today we're working on this mad Turbo D16 Civic that you probably saw a big build of on the main channel.
That's right, over months and months and months we turboed that poor little engine, and guess what? It's still going strong, it's still making heaps of power, it's going very fast. The whole time we actually wanted to put a dash in it. It's got a Haltech in it to run everything. We wanted to put a dash in. We're just waiting on some bits to arrive, including our surround and our instrument cluster replacement. And we're going to put a dash in that replaces all the factory stuff and opens up a whole bunch of extra features. And on that, there's even more features that are coming to this thing, which we've got a sneak preview of. So why would you put one of these dashes in your car? I've had one in Supergramps for a long time. It's been great for information readout. In something like a Civic, getting a cluster that has a tacho can cost anywhere between $500 and $2,000, depending which one you get. That's a lot of money to get a tacho, and that's all you get, which is a factory one. So we have, in this case, a solution where you replace the entire cluster, and it's got the cutout specifically made to fit the iC-7. So straight away, that's cool. Because the car's already got a Haltech in it, you can basically just plug it in and program it, and it all works. Correct?
Yep, 100%. Not only that, your factory dash can't show you all your extras. Like, we've got fuel pressure coming in, we've got oil pressure coming in. I know we originally talked about putting oil temperature in it just because we want to keep an eye on that, and maybe even coolant pressure.
It's worth mentioning that on the back, you actually get more inputs, which is a big plus. So if you've got a Elite 750 like what we've got in that car, and you don't have as many inputs as one of the 2-plug ECUs, this opens up more options.
This will change everything that we're going to do from now on.
Cool.
In every car that we do together.
Amazing.
This is going to be a game changer for us.
If the engineers make extra features that work on the hardware you already have, you'll get the update and you'll get to use those features. They're not held back and saying, you've got to buy another box unless the hardware physically can't do it. So an exciting upgrade that's coming to this is a whole bunch of firmware updates. Is that correct? Which turns it from a display into a I/O box. So we get extra inputs and outputs, which we could do to a point.
That will now send it back to the ECU as a channel that you can see in the ECU.
Cool, instead of just displaying it.
Correct.
And so you've also got that, and then you've also got essentially a CAN keypad. So 6 buttons here that can be used for different things. So Dave, can you tell me a bit about what's happening with that?
Yeah, cool. So like you said, we're going to do a major firmware upgrade to this dash. This has still got all the old software in it. Yep. So it actually gets a brand new software package. So we actually use it through the new Nexus software, which is really exciting. It's all going to be rolled into one big software package. So your ECU and dash all talks on the same software.
Man.
There's all going to be live programming, so we're going to see what that actually looks like. No more waiting for stuff to send to the dash, no more making stuff and then sending it to the dash. It's all live, so it's going to be pretty cool to see.
This is super early, so we've basically got the first one, and as it gets tweaked and added to and updates come through, there's going to be even more features. So if you're watching this in a year's time, it might already be doing even more cool stuff, but we do have the first one. The Civic is ready to receive its dash, so we're going to throw it in the car, get it all set up, and then have a look at it.
We're going to wire up the lights for blinkers, high beam, and possibly the park brake if it works. Yep. It's a bit of a funny one in a lot of cars, but if that all works, we'll start with those inputs and then we'll figure out the rest of the inputs that we want to use later on.
You're the guy, Dave. Let's do it.
The tools that you're going to need for this project are David.
There's many reasons why you might want to run a programmable dash like this one. You can set up multiple screens, warnings and data readouts to see what's happening in your car's various systems. They might be factory fitted, or you can also add other sensors to the wiring to do temperature or pressure monitoring. And with these latest upgrades, you can also feed that data back to the ECU.
With the cluster removed, we can see all of the factory wiring here. So most of this we're not going to need anymore, but we are going to need to retain things like indicators, high beam, fuel sender, and also the light for the handbrake. When it comes to the power, that's going to be coming from the ECU via this CAN cable. Actually, all sorts of data and magical stuff is going to be coming through here. That's got to run down into the firewall so it can get to the ECU. So next up, we've got to get Dave to do some wiring to hack into here to get the things we need, and then we're ready to stick the dash in.
Using a multimeter, a test light, or a fancy power probe like Dave's one, we can work out what wires come from the various things that we want to display. The dash will detect the change of state in the circuit, like a flashing indicator or a handbrake being pulled to start a sick drift, and then we can assign that function on the dash.
Dave has worked his magic and found all the wiring in behind that the old instrument cluster used to use, so blinkers and high beams and all that sort of stuff. Now we use our cool adapter, I'm going to call it, which looks kind of like that, except you put the dash in it. And it's going to go in there with the cable through. That plugs into the stock Civic stuff way back there. There somewhere. and then the dash sits in here. So the car's powered up, the Haltech's powered up, so when we plug this in, we should see it come to life. This is always a fun bit. Who likes pulling this stuff off? Yoink, there it goes. So that is ready to go. It can be mounted in there. We're not going to fully put it away yet because we've got some other cool stuff to show you, but that is going to sit back in there and look freaking excellent.
We are now talking to this dash in real time.
Cool. So we'll see changes.
Yeah, pretty much anything we do right now, we don't have to send it like the old software. It's all instant. It's going to be really, really cool.
And so what sensors did you end up plugging into the back of it?
What I've got is no sensors at the moment. I've got 2 blinkers, left and right, and hazard will still function exactly the same.
Cool.
I've got the handbrake and I've got the high beam light.
Perfect.
This is fresh off the engineer's desk at Haltech, but we managed to snag the first one, so we're going to have a bit of an explore around all the features and customise our mad iC-7 dash.
We've got the new software that means we can program it. We can also customise stuff more, like you can live change this yellow to say white. Can we go white? That might look cool on a white Civic. You hit go, there it is, done. So you couldn't actually do that before, which is awesome. So the first stage of this rollout of the new firmware for this iC-7 or anyone who's got one is you're gonna be able to do all this sort of stuff, live tuning via the NSP software. Then after that, we're also gonna have buttons coming out a little bit later on. Same thing again, new firmware, cool, now your buttons work. Then 2-way comms, and then what's the last one?
We're going to give you the ability to hopefully change the logo so you can put your own little custom touch to it and really make it yours.
Yeah, cool, to fully customise it. So that's a bit of a rundown of all the stuff that's happening with the iC-7, which is pretty exciting. So when it first came out, it was already a really interesting product in terms of what it could do with the Haltech and also cars without Haltech, so other things and cars that don't even have ECUs, mechanical injection, all sorts of stuff. As time goes on, slowly being refined. But I think what's really cool about it is, if you've got a dash, whether you bought it 3 years ago, today, or you buy it tomorrow, all these features will come at you, which I think is really awesome from Haltech. Thanks, Davo. I'm going to leave the USB cable there for my next firmware update. Thanks, man. Appreciate your help.
Okay, the dash insert is now in with the Haltech and it looks freaking amazing. The real question, does it work? Does it work?
I hope so.
All right. Indicators, good. Look at that. It's like actually professional. Well done, Dave.
Thanks, man.
Do you want to go get another sausage roll?
Oh, yeah, a good one this time.